This is a really good, I'm going to move on to the next question. Somebody wrote, the focus has been on moms and kids and work. What about finding time, making time for your partner? What happens to your relationship? How do you find time to tend to that between working and being a good mom? Because when relationships suffer, they negatively impact your work and your children. You want to go for that?
We'll chime in really quick. We've got a chapter about husbands. And, basically what we heard over and over from moms is, what happened? We had kids and all of a sudden our relationship, maybe was egalitarian before, maybe became more traditional, or the roles changed, or a lot happens. And in a nutshell, it's all about sort of the expectations. And, I learned from this process we both did. Had I just sat down with my husband as I was pregnant and said, okay, expectations, do you expect me to go back to work? Who's getting up in the middle of the night? I mean, the whole sitting down and really looking at your expectations of each other, that society has of you, that you have of yourself, can really mean the difference between, feeling like this is really rough and what happened to us, and wow, like we're okay here.
Yeah, that's good.
And I would say, somebody who completely agrees, you need to have the conversation, and you should have your agenda going into it, right? So that, I sort of said when I was cutting back at work, you're not expecting me to cook now, right? Because I've never been a good cook. And he would sort of say, but if you had more time, I'd say, no, I don't like cooking. That's the thing, And so I sort of just put my biggest fear straight out there, which is that all of a sudden, as I worked less and he was working more, that I was going to be the one, expected to be Martha Stewart. And I just sort of wanted to have that sort of agreement in place before we made the decision together. And what's he going to say? No, you have to have the meal on the table, and if you're going to work part time.
By the way, dinner was the number one stress we heard over and over again. Dinner throws moms over the edge.
That's why there's takeout.
Well, but they have this image that what a good mom does is provide dinner, even if you're working as much as your husband. No matter what, they feel that that's part of what a good mom does, and it's a lot of pressure. But also getting on the expectations, a lot, what we heard, we interviewed men as well for our husband chapter, and what we heard from them was, I'll do whatever my wife wants. She just needs to tell me. And women aren't telling them. You're not, from what we heard, you're not saying what you need. If you really are open and say, this is what I need, they're most likely gonna.
Pretty open.
Yeah, they're pretty open.
My husband always says, I'm not Marvin the mind reader. Why don't you tell me what
Exactly.
you want?
And they did. Every single one of them
Marvin.
complained about that. I can't read minds. I can't read minds. So.